it is officially the New Year's. What a wonderful, kind of terrifying, but in a good way, start to the new year. I don't know about any of you guys, but honestly, I'm feeling refreshed. I feel an abundance of opportunity this year. I feel clear-minded. Honestly, I feel wonderful. It's definitely the start to what I believe to be a great year. Did anyone do anything interesting? I was an absolute bore and I am proud of it. Usually I used to spend all of my New Year's partying it up, doing things that I thought meant the start of a new year, but honestly, this year was very low key. Me and Xavier decided to stay in. We went to our new house and we decided to start the new year off painting, doing our renovations, and taking the next steps to preparing our new home for us to build the rest of our life in. Until we want another home. Who knows? Did anyone start any New Year's resolutions? I have a couple of New Year's resolutions I do want to share with you guys, obviously pertaining to this channel. I am so sorry for the 5-week hiatus. I definitely needed some time for myself. I took those 5 weeks off just to kind of reconnect with myself and remind myself that, I'm human. So for this video today, I figured we'd start with everything I've crocheted in the year, which I have to say I was pretty surprised. I made quite a lot of things for being a first-time crocheter, for this being my first official year of crocheting. And being a perfectionist, I thought I was going to hate everything I made, and honestly, I'm very proud of myself. I can see the time, the dedication that I put into it, the love I put into it. I also see the growth of how I started when I first started crocheting and how my stitches were, and not being able to fully tell how to read stitch rows or any of that other stuff, and now more experienced and a little wiser, I look back and I'm like, you know what, I didn't do bad as a first-time crocheter, but there was definitely room for improvement. But I see the improvement as the projects go on throughout the year, so I figured we'd start there. Hello, lovely. Today is an absolutely beautiful and lovely day. I am super, super excited, feeling very positive and ready to start the what I crocheted this year. So this is going to be a little kooky, but it's true to who I am, a kook. So some of the items that I crocheted are not here with me. They were gifts, so they have already been given as such. I do believe I have pictures for pretty much everything, so I will pop them up on the screen whenever we discuss it, but let's get started. I'm not going to do this in any chronological order. I don't really remember everything. I'm more so going to do it in a way where I just talk about my favorite pieces that I've made so far, tell you a little bit about them, and if they came from a pattern. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. I've got you right here, but let's start off with my favorite thing. Coasters. I have a set of 4 coasters here. This is actually a Christmas gift for my sister-in-law. I followed a YouTube pattern I found and it was really easy, a lot of fun. It was pretty simple. I made them pretty fast. Originally, I was thinking of adding starch to them, but I find that it's honestly pretty sturdy on its own, so I don't feel the need to add starch and flatten it out. I kind of like a little bit of the flow of it. I used Yarn Bee Low Pill Soft and Sleek yarn, I believe is what it's called. I don't remember the color names, I'm so sorry, but I know that that is the yarn I used. I liked it. It's 100% acrylic. It's not super fuzzy like some other acrylic yarns can be, and this has been thrown around quite a bit, so I do enjoy that. I would definitely recommend the pattern. Very, very easy, very, very fun. Then to kind of go with that as a part 2 for the Christmas gift, I made her this water bottle holder. I actually freehanded this. All you have to do is do a magic circle. Make the magic circle as wide as whatever container you're going to have placed inside of this. Then on the back loop is where you want to start building it upwards to get that tube formation. I ended up doing a combination of double crochets and half double crochets, created a mesh stitch, alternated between the same yarn actually that I used for the coasters, the same yarn bee yarn, the same color. And when I got to the end, I was planning to not have these, what is this called? The scalloped detail on it. It was actually supposed to be plain, but I thought adding the scallop detail would create more of that sunflowery look. So then it seems like a set piece to go together. Honestly, I'm proud that I was able to do the scallop because it was my first time attempting it. I don't really care for how it looks. I'm not sure. I feel like maybe the scallop should have been bigger, should have been a little bit more dramatic. But then at the same time, I think about it and I'm like, if I would have made it bigger, it would have been really floppy and it would have just looked like kind of like a banana peel. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. For the strap, I initially tried a single crochet strap, but found it was too stretchy. So I searched on Pinterest for a couple of different like strap patterns and found this rope detail. Thought it was easy and just added it onto here. It's really sturdy, doesn't really have stretch at all, which is nice. It made a cute little feminine detail to add on to the water bottle holder. Then for the next project, I did some can koozies. This is actually for my sister-in-law's husband. He drinks a lot of LaCroix. This was a pattern that I found on YouTube. I followed the pattern, really simple, really easy. Not the best YouTube pattern video as far as like quality and things like that, but I found it really easy to follow. So I feel like other people might find it very easy to follow. I'll link it below. I made this as a little set for him. I figured he only needed 2, but I still have some of the yarn left over. So there's a possibility I might make 2 more just so he has a set of 4 in case he has friends over in his man cave and he'd like to give them a koozie as well. Keeping with the trend of koozies and water bottle holders, I ended up freehanding this water bottle holder right here. This is for a Stanley cup, which is what my fiance Xavier has. I freehanded this for him. I thought this would be a really good thing to bring along whenever we go on hikes and all he wants to do is bring his water and maybe like his phone and his wallet. I did something different for the straps. I tested out Tunisian crochet for the first time and made the straps. Now, it did stretch more than I wanted it to, but it wasn't because of the stitch itself. It was actually because of the yarn, because acrylic yarn tends to, you know, stretch when it's steamed. And that's what happened. I actually really liked how I did this. It is a little sloppy in the sense that it's not as aesthetically appealing as I would have wanted it to be. I was very impressed and proud of myself. Then for the next thing, I created a matching set. Super, super cute. It is a crochet beanie with a matching infinity scarf. Super, super happy with how it came out. Definitely followed a pattern for both of them. Followed the pattern verbatim for the crochet beanie. I do feel like I messed up a little bit on the closure portion because it looks so bulky, but I'm not sure if it's because I did it wrong or if it was the type of yarn that I used. It's really thick. So I'm wondering if that kind of contributed to the bumpier than I wanted crown. Oh, I'm so sorry. This was made with Yarn Bee anti-peel, the anti-peel yarn, same as the other one. This one, however, was made with KC yarn. I think that's what it's called. It was a yarn from Joann. It's super soft. It is fuzzy, so it does have like a halo, but it's very nice, very cozy, not scratchy at all, and I really enjoyed working with it. As for the scarf, it's supposed to be a rib style stitch, but the ribbing that she had was very wide, and because the ribbing for the beanie was smaller, I wanted it to look like a cohesive piece and to look like it was matching, so I used the same stitch for this on the scarf. Now, I'm not upset or disappointed with how I made this. I think it came out good. What I'm disappointed about is how skinny it is. You can wrap this around twice or 3 times and it looks really good. And it's not ugly, but I wish it was a little thicker. And unfortunately, Joann closed and I scoured the internet trying to find someone that was selling this exact yarn and color and could not find anything. And I had already frogged this 4 times. I was not about to frog it a 5th time. My next project is another infinity scarf. This one right here. This one was made with, it was a Karen cake and I think the color was Cabana. This is for my mother-in-law. So this is for her husband. She gets an infinity scarf and an ear warmer. I won't be giving her this ear warmer. The ear warmer is not very stretchy and it seems that I made it a little too small, but the actual infinity scarf itself, super cute. Love it. Love the way it looks. Love the way it feels. The yarn is very beautiful, but it was not the easiest to deal with. If you use this yarn, I would highly, highly recommend to take your time as you crochet because frogging this, not the friendliest. This was nice. I will work on this to make that fit better. This is another project I made. This is the blanket moss stitch scarf by Blondie Knots. That one I do 100% remember because I actually recently just did this one. Used Karen 1 pound value yarn, Big and Twist acrylic yarn, and I think it's called Impeccable. Those are the 3 different types of acrylics that I used. I just don't care for the way it feels for this type of garment. I can see myself using acrylic for making something like a purse, maybe making something like amigurumi. The actual project itself was super fun. I enjoyed it. I loved the color combinations and how it worked up. And my favorite part, I didn't have to weave in any ends. So that was really fun. Then I surprised myself in fall. I decided I wanted to freehand something. I was inspired by the Sophie scarf and all the other really pretty scarves that were coming out and also some really cute headbands. So I decided to make a 2-in-1. This is what I came up with. It is made with the Crafters cotton yarn. That's from Dollar Tree. It was me testing it out to see how I felt about it. I don't mind the yarn, not as a headpiece that you could probably use to make like cloths, like washcloths, face cloths, or even like amigurumi. I think it would be nice for a cute little cotton amigurumi. But as far as for a headpiece, it's really stiff. However, I love this piece. I am so proud. I definitely want to try to clean this up. I want to play around with it a little bit more as far as the type of yarn I want to use, how I want to properly put the pumpkin on, and how I want the decreases to go. I would like something a little maybe wider and flowier. So that is on my 2026. I want to try to create bucket list. Very happy with what I came up with, and yeah. Keeping on with the fall theme, I created this. I actually have a YouTube video of me working on this. This is a pattern that I followed for crocheting a pumpkin. Honestly, I butchered it. Not really, because as you can see, it came out cute, but it didn't come out as great as I want it to be. My tension was all off. You can definitely see the stuffing on the inside. I somehow made a mistake in the beginning and wasn't doing the correct ribbing. I don't know how, but apparently I messed it up. And then when I finally caught on, you see the difference towards the end because it starts to split up. But I mean, it still looks cute. I did freehand the stem on the middle. For the pattern, she has you use like a stick from outside to glue on to here. I didn't like that. I wanted it to be 100% crochet. So I just freehanded the stem, found a pattern for the leaves, and then found a pattern for the vine. Added that on and got my cute little pumpkin. I would recommend the pattern. It was really fun to work up. Just pay attention to what you're doing. Don't make a mistake like me. All right. So for next pieces, hold on, I gotta roll this up. I never got to do that whole, You know, the blanket drop thing? I've never got to do that or experience that, so I want to do that right now. Not as satisfying as I thought it would be. Maybe my blanket needs to be longer. But if you've seen the same video where I did the pumpkin, then you've seen this blanket before. The yarn, which is Yarn Bee Uberlux, which I think is discontinued, so you might not be able to get it again. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure, but I think. But it is the Uberlux, and the yarn was nice, very fuzzy. But other than that, the yarn was nice. It was a pain to work with in the sense that if you work with a bigger hook and bigger yarn, it kind of hurts your fingers. A fun project that I made, just wasn't satisfied with the overall look after it was done. Next project I made was an absolute flop and a big disappointment, and I almost didn't show it in this video, but I'm gonna show it to you regardless. This blunder is my temperature blanket. So, initially started this with my sister-in-law. We were supposed to do a temperature blanket for this year, which Jazzy, did a great job. I will pop in a picture because she finally finished it and it looks absolutely adorable. She kept up with it like the dedicated woman that she is. I tried to play catch up. I started January and we were broaching into February, and then I gave up because I had a bunch of other things to crochet, including Christmas presents, and this was not bringing me joy, so I tossed it. Now it is a blanket for my cat, which we'll see how long that lasts because her temperament, she likes things one minute and then she hates them the next. So once she decides to hate it, I'll probably end up donating it. Next crochet piece. This is a Scooty. This is actually a free-handed inspiration from Aver Paula's Scooty. She hadn't released a pattern yet, so I was itching to try it, and I ended up looking at it, had an idea of how it was structured, and created it myself. I actually crocheted this for my dachshund princess. It was really fun. It was really easy to kind of just create. Unfortunately, it does not fit for my dachshund. If you have a dachshund, you know they have weird, tiny shaped heads, and she's a mix, so I think her head is even weirder. So this was way too long, way too big. Then I added the scarf part, and this is also way too long. So in order for it to fit her somewhat, I had to roll this all the way back, roll this portion all the way up, and then tie it around her for it to be this small, and it still doesn't work. I'm gonna see if I can give this to my brother-in-law's dog because her body structure might fit this. If it fits her, then I'll gift it, but if it doesn't, I'll probably clean it really well and then donate it. The next thing I made is, it looks weird, I know. So this is a free-handed piece I created. Honestly, it was inspired by Outlanders season 1. I decided to create this little piece as a head cover for Princess. This is a yarn that I thrifted. It's a secondhand yarn. It is acrylic. It is not natural fiber. If anyone out there knows of a yarn that looks exactly, I mean, same color tone, same colorway, and is like a natural fiber, please let me know below. I want to create myself something with this colorway. And normally I'm not like a crazy vibrant all over their color, but this I fell in love with. She looks adorable in it, but it's not as functional as I want it to be. The back of the head portion is a little too big. It needs to be narrower. Fun fact, this white yarn is actually this yarn, but this yarn is plied with 4 different strands. See, and I took the time, pulled all those strands apart, and used the one single strand to go around the edge to create that two-toned look. I love the contrast between that bright, shiny white and then those beautiful, rich jewel tone colors. It's gorgeous. What was I saying before? Oh yeah, the reason why it didn't work is 1, I need to narrow this, I need to shorten the top, but 2, I need to work on the ear holes. So the ear holes, this is where her ears go. as you can probably already guess, they're too wide. So her ears go in, they flop all over the place. The moment she kind of shakes her head, her ear goes under, and then this slowly starts to like shift off of her in a funny way. So really cute. Love the button at the front. Love the little bow tie closure. Not as functional as I want it to be, but I will be remaking this because I have to use this yarn. We're approaching the end here of the items that I crocheted this year. For the last set of items that I crocheted, I actually acquired a new crafting hobby that, if I'm being honest, I think is gonna stay. It is still fiber arts using yarn specifically, but I know it might be a little bit of a controversial topic. Here's what I made. So I made 6 beanies and 1 scarf using the Centro knitting machine. So I don't have all the beanies. The other 4 beanies and the scarf are currently at their designated homes with the people who they were created for. But I do believe I have some videos that I can show you guys and pop up on the screen of the other 4 beanies and the 1 additional scarf that I made. For these that are here, this is actually for my fiance, Xavier. I made him this beanie, a brimless beanie with the loops and threads Luxe Merino yarn. I actually really like this yarn. Then this one is a brimmed beanie made with the loops and threads anti-peel yarn. I was actually really surprised how much I enjoyed using this on the Centro knitting machine. For the beanies that I made 2 in this really beautiful like maroon color from Big Twist. I believe it's a discontinued item. I'm not 100% sure, but I got it on clearance at Joann's before they closed. Absolutely beautiful, super soft, great to work with, had a really nice sheen at the end and really nice softness and flexibility. Then I did another beanie in a beautiful blue color, and that one was with the Caron Simply Soft. The 4th beanie that I created was also from Caron Simply Soft, and it was their speckled brand. Super, super gorgeous. I did a brimless beanie with that one, and that one was for my brother-in-law. That was the 4 beanies. I also made a scarf on there for my mother using loops and threads, facet in the color Autumn. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. If you have to frog it, it is a pain in the butt and it might tear. But other than that, the yarn itself, super beautiful how it works out. As for the Centro machine, I'm really confused and I'm really interested to know why. So if any of you guys know why that is, let me know down below. I would love to chat with you and figure out why there's so much hate against it, when honestly, I had a lot of fun working it, and I can think of a bunch of really cool, wonderful things that I would love to create once I really master utilizing the machine itself. That's pretty much all my makes that are completely 100% finished and were completed here in 2025 for my first official year of crocheting. I'm very proud of myself. I will say that is not including the numerous amount of things that I have attempted to create and I frogged. There was a rug at one point that I attempted to create and frogged. There was this queen size blanket I was attempting, and I don't know what the heck I was thinking there, but I was gonna make a queen size blanket for myself. Definitely frogged that, 100%. I couldn't even commit to the temperature blanket. But let me bring this back because I'm rambling. I'm very proud of myself for completing what I've completed. I am also very proud of myself for having the courage to document this, because honestly and truly I wasn't going to, because I didn't feel like I had the right to, which is absolutely wrong. Let me be the first to tell you, no matter where you are in your crochet journey, whether you're a beginner or you're not a beginner, however many items you decide to crochet in that year, you should be proud of. Because you made them, you took the time, you took the effort, you put in the work, and you created something that you can 100% be proud of. Whether it has a blemish or imperfection, that doesn't matter. Handmade items are not meant to be perfect. They're meant to be handmade. imperfectly beautiful and created by an imperfect human. So I immediately ixnayed that out, and I'm proud of myself for taking the time to showcase what I was able to create. I'm super excited for all the wonderful things that I'm planning to create in the future, and I'm excited to bring you guys along in the journey. As far as the most proud of handmade thing that I made, honestly, I think it's a tie between these two. Not because they're perfect, not because they look like a professional made them, absolutely not. But it's because these were two items that I thought of and I created. These two things are going to be items that kind of propel me forward in 2026. Now, before you guys go, I do want to talk about the kind of revamp that I'll be doing for Ibis Amber. When I initially started this channel, I had no real thought process. And I kind of needed to do that and just start, because every single time I've ever tried to start a passion project, a business, or anything of that nature, I thought that I had to research, and plan and figure out everything where anything could go wrong and try to find a solution for it before it happened. The problem with that is, now I'm all for being prepared for things, because you should be. You should be aware of, the pros and the cons of whatever journey or whatever step you decide to take. Here's where I did everything wrong. I constantly overplanned, overprepared, but never took the next step. And it was always out of fear of rejection, fear of failure, which is a really big one for me, and fear of putting myself out there. So when I finally decided crafting, specifically crocheting, is something that I am so passionate about, that I actually see myself building something for myself with this, I said, screw it. No more don't overthink, don't over research, don't over prepare, just freaking do it. And that's what I did. I started the channel. So welcome to the new Ibis Amber Crafts, the digital diary of an aspiring fiber artist. This is me being brave. Thank you so much for tuning in, for taking the time to watch my video and making it this far to the end. See you guys next week. Bye.